SHO! Yeah, we have a great show for you folks here tonight. We'll give you we're going to do a little review of the arts, and then we're getting into our guest, and that's it, because it's only a 15-minute show. But this bullet point says, hey, Ichiro, what you been up to lately?
I have been sleeping a lot because my 19-year-old... Oh, no, wait, the opposite of that. I have been working on a remaster of our 1999 base jumping game, and 30-Minute Metropolis is our RTS city builder we're working on with Jake Burkett. Shout out to our friends over in the UK. And then we are about to show Monster Loves You 2, the sequel to our game that sold so many copies that it was responsible for more installs of the Steam client of the year of its launch than any other game that launched that year. That is our claim to fame.
Nice.
So if anybody would like to try the one level, thank you, Michael, and also nice background. I would love to have people test it before Nintendo and Sony do.
That is awesome. Count me in. I want to play it.
All right.
It's gorgeous. Who's doing the art? The last one was gorgeous. Who's doing this one?
So this time around, I think the art's even better, as good as the art was last time. Lindsay, who is Radial Games, or was late Radial Games, and he now works for Museum of Other Realities, one of Andy Moore's people, and he's hand drawing the art on paper and scanning it in, so it has an interesting look to it.
Nice. All right. Speaking of art, let's go to our new segment, which here I'm going to pretend I have a fancy like talk show, like pew 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 pew. Thursday review of the arts. The arts being devlog. We're just going to run through real quick, like what's been going on in devlog for last week, because a lot of what the show is that we want people to be posting a devlog and reading a devlog and connecting with what each other are doing. So let's get started. First notable thing in devlog, Jesse Crafts Finch is eyeballing game jams and looking for partners. He says, I take it easy, keep scope small, and enjoy the process. That sounds like a guy that I want to do a game jam with.
Yeah, I like that. So then next up we have John Bellini, who just changed his name from Joe Bell to John Bellini on Zoom, showed off the ever-growing Hall of Games video that highlights Montserrat College of Arts game jams. Feel free to stick a link into the Zoom chat for that.
I want a highlight reel now. I've never thought of making one for my jams, but I like that idea. Next, we've got some Screenshot Saturday tweets. It's a hashtag people put on their tweets on Saturday to get extra traction, and it does work sometimes. You can get traction. We have Felicia Santos sharing Dirty Beast Games Feral Frontier had a new room there in their tweet. Am I doing all these? Too?
Oh, I don't know. And then John again, he teased footage of his space dog fighting game. Is that like Space Dash Dog or Space Dog Dash fighting game?
They were spaceships. They were metal spaceships, not furry animals. When I saw.
Oh, okay. Yeah. His game Alpha 1.
Yeah. And then you have Benny Wilson back again with the Sheep and Fox show. This ever-evolving project of his. Got a sheep doing a tornado swirl to shake off these snowmen who were loving it too much, which spawned some extra. He shared some details about how he used blender spines to make a twirl there and used scrolling materials to get done. It was fun to see some of the process.
So tell me, you and Luigi have some news about Kind Words, your BAFTA-winning Kind Words game.
We'll get through one show without mentioning my BAFTA, I'm sure. Luigi, we put out an update to Kind Words, new room, new stickers. Here's the behind-the-scenes treat for everybody. Luigi had his shit done about 3 months ago, and it took me that long to finish my end of the update.
Well, that's because you're fucking doing weird show shit like this and wasting your time. And Elliot Mitchell, don't think that I did not see you positioning your fucking red wine. Pardon my language. I know I don't know everybody in the chat. So your red wine, your lovely red wine. Yeah, go ahead.
Chronologically after that, you got Michael Silverman is there showing off, soliciting reviews for his shiny new website, which looked good. I looked at it and I didn't see anything to immediately yell at, which is why I did not respond. But good job, Michael.
Is that also Michael on JavaScript physics?
Separate post.
Nice. I don't know if Michael's in the chat today. That's okay. We're only a little hurt. And then finally, Dan Williams, who was our guest last week, is locked in battle with a custom tile system. Everybody, I think, saw his making islands out of tiles is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, including one of the commentators on that was our guest today, Ben Wu, who has some
good
experience.
segue. Excellent.
Yeah. You'd think I'd planned it. Cool. So, go ahead, Chris. Just cut to Ben. I have a whole intro for him prepared. I've got like a paragraph of text to read, man. No, sorry, Chris. I appreciate you very much.
Look,
So, our guest today is Ben Wu. If you've talked to Ben or have been watching the devlog, you've probably been charmed by his presence or impressed by his enthusiasm and aptitude for learning game tech. He's a relatively new member, and by relative, I mean to Ichiro and I, who I'm not speaking for Ichiro here, but who see Ben as the kind of fast-moving young talent who will someday eclipse all the old guard's accomplishments, and
It's
therefore
not a competition.
He should be encouraged or stopped. I'm not sure which. In the meantime, please give a round of applause. Do we have an applause sound effect? Anyways, to our tonight's guest, Ben Wu.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Now you can cut to Ben.
Cut to Ben. There. Oh, sweet. Perfect. Welcome, Ben. Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, as good as anyone could be in these times, right?
And you were enjoying some wine. That was what you answered in the chat there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Box wine.
Oh, nice. That means there's a lot of it. I like that. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's dive right into it. I've talked to you a bit before, and I know that you've been working with some game tech professionally, and I was curious, which came first? You work with game tech professionally, and outside of work, you're also making games. Which came first? Did one feed into the other?
They both kind of happened at the same time. I had a sort of a fleeting thought 3.5 years ago that maybe I could try learning something like Unity just to get started in sort of game dev tech. I worked through all the tutorials, the Rollerball Unity tutorial. I made Pong and all that good stuff. And the company I'm working for right now was looking for a mixture of people with hard or soft science backgrounds who had some coding knowledge or some familiarity with Unity or game engines. So I had only been learning Unity for about 6 months when I started actually working with it professionally, because they weren't really expecting me to know a whole lot at that point. They sort of brought me on more for my mechanical engineering background at the time. And it's all been since then just through my full-time gig, learning more and more about Unity and game dev in general. And then last year I started taking side projects seriously when I went to GDC and participated in the Train Jam, my first game jam.
Nice. What is this, though? I'm hearing in fact, I want to start a holy war here. You're taking a month off to study Unreal.
Mm-hmm.
You're following in Ziba's kind of footsteps here.
Well, the reason there is because although I'm working in game tech for my current gig, I hope to, in the near to mid future, have video game development as my full-time job. And in order to maximize the odds of making that happen, learn C++, learn Unreal. In addition to all of the passive benefits that one gets by sort of learning a new piece of tech or a new environment or new programming language.
And two of the ways you've been doing this, you've been doing these game jams and you've been doing these solo learning projects.
Mm-hmm.
What are you trying to get out of those? And are you getting the same thing out of both of those? Those seem to be the two real things that we post about in devlog, is these jams where your itch page is full of jams and your devlog is these solo projects. I was gonna say, how do you find the time? But you're taking a month off, which is nice.
Yeah.
But what's the difference between the two? What do you get different things out of doing a jam, which is your jams have been with a team, versus these learning things?
I wouldn't say that they're really. I don't separate them in my head, because usually when I'm doing a jam, I go into the jam with a very specific idea about what it is I want to learn through the process, in addition to all the collaboration piece. So the first jam I did was a train jam on the way to GDC, and what I wanted to learn there was, I've been working with Unity for 2 years professionally at that point. I wanted to see if I had the chops to build an actual non-enterprise software game that was fun in the course of 72 hours. Then the Don't Drop the Bass, the next Ludum Dare jam I did, I went into it specifically looking to see if I can, from scratch in Unity, develop a dynamic music feedback system where the game code knows where the music is and vice versa. Then the last Ludum Dare I did, which Cipher came out of, I specifically wanted to see if I can put together a game that overall, I think, felt cohesive and not jammy. Like a game without extra sort of caveats to it. With Don't Drop the Bass, it's like, okay, I did the music system. It generally looks pretty good, but it's not very fun. And then the Robo Robbers one I did the first time was like, okay, it looks okay. It's kind of fun, but it requires 2 players and is a little technically janky. I wanted to come out of the third jam with something that was polished and packaged and could be taken as a full.
So I gotta say, the thing that hits me most is that Ben's like, well, I wanted to break out of enterprise software and try something hard, which I think is my interpretation of that. And yes, it's doing a jam is definitely a lot different experience than doing a whole piece of software. But that's the level we're at, and I would encourage everybody in the chat to recognize that Ben's throwing down not only with the whole Unreal Unity war, but just sort of well, can you code enterprise software and then also do a jam?
I pretend to be able to code enterprise software. I do my best.
And I want to get your jam. Particularly, I have feelings about Don't Drop the Bass. We're gonna get to in a second. What
Sure.
else is helping? What else is helping you learn? So you've been jams, solo projects. Anything else you're putting in your regiment of getting to where you want to be with this tech?
The greater Boston game dev community has been extremely helpful. I think the first event I went to was Game Loop last year in August. I think maybe it was August. Since then, I've had the opportunity to reach out to tons of people, including the IGC, everybody I met at Bug as well. These miscellaneous meetups, all these talks that have been happening pre and post COVID. Just sort of trying to get as much knowledge as I possibly can about different subjects from different people. When I started the sabbatical about a month ago to learn Unreal, I sort of queued up a list of people I knew I wanted to talk to and reached out and have been getting opinions from a bunch of people. So in addition to just sort of diving into the tech, this community that we're trying to foster here has been extremely helpful and continues to be super helpful.
Nice. I'm glad I set you up with that self-promotional question to give that answer to. It's awesome. I want to get into the details of a couple of your games here.
Yeah,
let's do it.
I'm intrigued by Don't Drop the Bass, specifically because I played it. I got really excited about it. I'd said I wanted to talk about it. And you're like, I don't know about that one, which made me just want to talk about it more because I liked it. What is Don't Drop the Bass?
Don't Drop the Bass is a 2D top-down shooter where you play a kind of music developer on a website like SoundCloud. I think on our game it's noise.smog. And you are fighting against your sort of hypothetical people giving you potentially negative and unhelpful feedback on an open forum. And then mechanically you're sort of shooting manifestations of this negative feedback in time to music, which is in the fiction probably the music that you as the artist created.
And I love all the elements of that. And I feel like Ichiro you would pitch that. I don't know if I don't know if you got to play it beforehand, Ichiro, but I feel like if you hear those elements, you are in SoundCloud. You're effectively in. It looks like you're in SoundCloud, and you're seeing like the comments popping up. But you got this aesthetic of it, and you're playing sort of a top-down mouse rhythm shooter, and the comments are popping up in there, and the music's thumping, and you're sort of like blasting away through an interface. It made me think of you, and that you would give a really sassy pitch for it.
My God, that's a tough thing. I actually don't have a sassy pitch. You have the comment. I want to like. Let me ask the question you're asking. Is this social commentary? Yeah. Which, right? That's, I think, what you're getting to.
It's pretty heavy-handed, I would say, I guess, but sure, I think so. After doing that, like, my partner and I, we spent so much time on the first night just figuring out what that commentary was and what the fiction was. So we ended up not doing any development with that first night and just came up with, there's this web interface which kind of looks one-to-one to SoundCloud, and here's how the individual...
I loved it. Immediately, I was in some place familiar, messing with it from an angle I hadn't before. I was playing a game, I don't know, for a quick and efficiently with your assets and your art. I thought you brought me to a place, and I think you should be more proud of that game than you are. So I'm saying. So people should check that out.
Ziba, I think you should judge Nuovo because you have the lingo down for it and the appreciation, whereas I'm like, fuck Nuovo, fuck kind words.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next game. Just a little bit about, particularly, I really want to hit on this one because you posted a video of this. I talked to you about it before. I knew what it was, but you posted a video in the Slack and saying, "Hey, does anybody know what this game was?" And it was a very complicated game that you are working on. It's a tribute. You're remaking something that you'd appreciated, and it was Forrest who replied, "Just watching this gives me anxiety," which I believe was actually the intent of this game, if I'm understanding it right.
Yeah, that is the core design pillar in regards to player experience in that game. Just straight up anxiety. So I'm remaking an old Flash game with my own spins on it. It was called Multitask. Came out a long time ago. But essentially,
they're seeing it now. Idea, it looks really simple, right? It's just a ball, and that's wait.
Yeah, you end up controlling one game, and then 2 games, and then 3 games, and then 4 games all at the same time. Each individually is very simple, but trying to control all 4 of them at the same time becomes an increasingly difficult task because as the game goes on, I make each of the individual games harder. So the idea is you try to survive as long as you can, not making a single mistake along the way. And I really enjoy this game because you have these 2 very different player experiences, which are, when you're playing it initially, you're just super overwhelmed. Like you can't even conceive of how you can play all these games for a long time, all at the same time. And then once you sort of reach an inflection point where you get comfortable with the controls, you learn the strategy of where your eyes should be, where your focus should be at any given time. You reach this wonderful flow state where you're just slamming away, perfectly synchronized your thoughts to the game states. And I really, when I played that like 15 years ago, I thought that was really compelling. And I thought it was a fun game to try to recreate in Unreal, just to learn, continue my journey in learning Unreal Engine with a game that I knew the entire scope of. I didn't have to do, I did a bit of design work to make some changes to the original game that I thought were improvements. But otherwise, I thought it was a really good exercise to, take a new engine that I don't know and make a game I do know. So I only have to worry about the execution and not quite so much the design piece. So I put that together in the past week and a half or so. And I'm pretty happy at how it came out. And if anyone's interested in playing it, I think we can get a link up in the chat.
Zoom bombed right now. Chris, can you kick these people? And maybe this is my fault.
Zoom bombers can't hold us back. This was awesome. I like that. I like how you're picking different scopes for your tasks there. It's really encouraging. It's a smart idea to be chasing both technical things or having the experience of making something that has a full interaction that's fun or at least just feels complete in UI. I think that's a really smart way to be moving around through your learning process to keep it broad. So I think that's really cool. I need to move on to the next jam though. This is the big one. What is Cipher? This is, again, people can play that on the itch page.
Yeah, so Cipher was the third jam I participated in. The theme was Start With Nothing. So our idea was to create a puzzle game which literally started with nothing, basically nothing on the screen. And we thought that prompt was appropriate for a game in which you aren't told what the rules are, so you're trying to solve all of these puzzles or ciphers without the key. But we present those puzzles in an order where you can learn what those keys are yourself through trial and error and sort of scientific testing. And this game ended up going super, super well. I think it in like the Ludum Dare review system, it ended up placing 49th out of like the 1,600 entries that went in. It went well enough where afterwards we decided I think it might be worth it to port to mobile and try to have this as a really fleshed out portfolio piece.
Yeah. So what did happen since that initial jam?
Yeah. So I was showing it around. I brought it to the Indie Game Collective, and Michael Carrier suggested, if you would be interested, we Zapdot would love to partner with you to finish this and publish it and get it up for sale in 2020 or early 2021. So that is currently in development in partnership with Zapdot, and I'm pretty excited to see where that goes. But you can play the original itch.io version on my page. It's just in your browser. See how far you can get. And same goes for anything on my itch.io page. If you want to try out anything and give me any feedback about any of it, I'm open to hearing all of it.
That's really awesome. Yeah, I played it myself. It is definitely a it's not just a puzzle game. It's not a good sense of puzzle mystery. It's a good job of like making you pull the rules in yourself, which is a delightful particular category puzzle. So last question, because we're about near the end here. What is the next thing we're going to see from you in devlog?
I think I'm going to be asking for feedback on my 2 Unreal projects, probably. But as far as the next thing goes, I'm not entirely sure because my sabbatical from work is ending this week. So after I go back to my 40-hour work week, my nights and weekends are going to be dedicated to Cipher. So I don't know. We'll see. It'll be exciting.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ben. You've been a fantastic host here. Host.
Thank you, sir.
Just a guest.
Guest.
I think me or Ichiro is a host. I don't know.
I don't know. We're all hosts. We're all somebody.
Please, everybody, go play Ben's games. On the itch page should be a link there, bencolewoo.itch.io. Fun stuff there. I particularly love Don't Drop the Bass more than Ben does. You can go debate about that. It's a quick game. Play it and debate it in the happy hour that's just about to happen.
I think we're probably actually going to have to give a new link for the Zoom, and I apologize because I tweeted about it thinking nothing apparently, but apparently that was a bad idea, so I deleted that tweet. Now nothing will ever happen. Yeah. Yep.
Oh wow, yeah, we may reform the happy hour in our private Slack once we get there. In the meantime, remember, as always, check out Play Games if you want to play games with people. Hashtag the channel in our Slack and post in devlog so that you can get in next week's review of the arts. And
Yeah, good point. And then, like, up next, Chris is going to teach us how to make a rum and coke. Sorry, so half the audience laughed and half the audience just okay. I guess that's Chris.
All right, I actually need to like swap
Oh,
rooms here really quick.
All right.
So be right back.